When the car was delivered, Jim's father was quite disturbed because it would die at the stoplight, and it idled roughly, and it had a standard transmission. He didn't understand why it should have a standard transmission after his Ford. But the funny thing is about it, we had talked with Gary from Pontiac, whatever division it was, about the rear end, and I had said we wanted a 411. However, he said, yeah, the 411, the problem with the 411 is there was something about not having, well, I just don't remember, obviously, but he said they were making a special 401, and this would give us a higher top speed, or actually lower revs when you were driving at 60 miles an hour than the 411, and but it would be faster on the drag strip. Well, in fact, the car came with I think it was a 333 rear axle, which actually did disappoint at the drag strip. Other cars that were similarly equipped or didn't even have as strong engines as that car had were faster in a quarter mile. But it was fast. It was fast, and when it came to top speed, nobody came close to us. And I'll tell you about that in a few minutes. We got the Pontiac. I took the heads off of it. I can't believe I did. I was 18 years old. I'd never even seen the inside of an engine before, and I took the heads off, and using some book. Today it would be hot rodding for dummies or something, I suppose. I had a book that showed about how you port and polish the heads, and so I did that, and I matched up the intake gaskets and the intake manifold, and did all kinds of other things to it. We screwed up the exhaust system. I put some kind of cutouts on it that didn't seal, and of course they leaked all the time, and it sounded, unless you had them open, it sounded bad. When you had them open, you couldn't hear yourself talk in the car. In any case, the car was fast. We took it to the drag strip a number of times, and there were one or two other cars that were faster, but if they weren't there, we were always the fastest, and we got a whole bunch of trophies, and we had lots of fun. We also had lots of fun driving the car around the town Friday evenings, out running up and down the strip in Hammond, Indiana. And the girls thought the car was pretty good. I took a girl to the prom when I was a senior in that car. She seemed to like it. Had a big back seat. Anyway, it had a big back seat, yeah. And just before we graduated from high school, they had some kind of a day where you got together with other kids and you could go to the beach or something. So we, together with a guy named Bob, I guess I can mention his last name nowadays, Bob Galt and another fellow named, geez, can't remember his name just as well. Marvin Panville. Bob had an Oldsmobile station wagon that was amazingly fast. It had a big V8 in it. I don't know any more about it than that, but it was an amazingly fast car for being a big, heavy station wagon. The police are going by us here. And we took off, the 3 cars in a caravan, so to speak, and drove to Lake Michigan, up to the State Dunes in Indiana. And to get there, we had to get on the Indiana Tollway. And of course, with the Pontiac and the Oldsmobile, and I don't remember what Marvin's car was, but it was also quite a fast car. We took off, and of course, this was the opportunity for that 333 rear axle to show what to show what it could, and it did. It really did. Bob was in front, and when we got up to about 100 miles per hour, the Pontiac just kept on going, and the Old started slowing down. I mean, it didn't start slowing down. It stopped accelerating, but the Pontiac just kept on going. And I think it said 100. I don't know if the speedometer went to 150, but I think it said about 150 anyway. And these were on relatively standard tires. We had some kind of better tires. I don't remember. The Pontiac provided them with it. There was also a note that came with the car that said that they took no responsibility for what happened when you were driving it and so on. Well, we got halfway to the dunes when all of a sudden we saw a blue flashing light behind us, and Jim slowed down, and the state trooper pulled all 3 of us over. Oh shit. I was in the back seat. And we stopped. Jim got out, and Marvin got out, and Bob got out, and they went. The policeman stood there. He was alone. And we sat in the car wondering how we were going to get home, because they figured they were going to confiscate the car or something. But in fact, this young policeman said his first words were to Jim, "You're flying mighty low there, son." And Jim looked at him and said, "I don't understand, officer." "Oh, I'm sure you understand. I clocked you at 130 miles per hour. And he hemmed and hawed and went on about the dangers of driving fast, and if we understood that the tires on that car were probably stressed to the limit at that speed, and so on and so forth. And to our utter amazement, he just let us go, warning us that other police might not have as much understanding about kids in fast cars, and we should be careful, keep our eyes open. It was quite an amazing experience. It was quite exhilarating. And it gave us a lot of respect for the police, actually. because he could have thrown the book at us, of course. Wouldn't happen nowadays. They'd throw us in jail without a doubt. Okay, I'm going to have to stop here at this little station and explain that I just have paper here. There's no charge for paper, but I have to stop and explain that I only have paper and cartons and stuff like that. Be back with you in a minute.